The thoughts and opinions of this show is that of Drazy and does not coincide with all of Dre's Radio Cafe. Listening discretion is advised.
Yeah. Rated. Double.
Roski making hits.
Kiss at my crib, you think it's all me? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, on me. So it's on me. Picked up the keys to my crib, you dig this all me. Switching up on my whips and tint, this all me. Doubled up on my chips and clips, it's all me. You see that ass on that chick, I hit, that's all me. Brady has always been this crazy, classy criminal. Highly respected, baby, maybe heard a general. I'm telling this to shorty, thinks it's unbelievable. But no one nigga shoots it straight, I never do subliminal. She says she loves a thinking man, it one is far from typical. God and family overall, it seems she digs my principles. Highly educated, handsome hoodies from the hip-hop. I prefer visits and calls, but she makes sexy textable. We both enjoy the conversations, I enjoy she flexible. The way she walks because I'm watching, which is so delectable. Since baby be by the business, which is better edible. Gotta run and scream and rated 80 on my pedestal. I done brought her to the crib, let her see how rated lives. Some say rated's overrated, over hatred's what it is. And when I do it, you get it, this what I get. Yeah, that's what it is. Picked up the keys to my crib, you dig this all me. Switching up on my whips and think that's all me. Doubled up on my chips and clips, that's all me. You see that ass on that chick, I hit, that's all me. Double don't do dumb shit, double keeps you the band. Shorty is been a G, so a gangster she understands. Look, mama sexy as fuck, double keeps her wet enough. She loves the way I eat it, beat it, freaks me till she wets me up. She see double in the streets, no I'm far from industry. The industry respects us, so bitch they fuck away from me. Since she knew double was trouble when she caught a nigga sleeping. Tried to wake me, laugh and shake me till the nigga started singing. Don't wake me, I'm scheming. She said, please don't wake me. Yeah. See what I mean? Shorty crazy, sexy, cool, but TLC digging the scene. Red light specials in the room. Always tell me not to change, keep it real and stay true. Doubles doubling like the changes happen only when due. Yeah. The keys in my crib, you think it's all me. Switching up on my whips and tint, it's all me. Doubled up on my chips and clips, it's all me. You see that ass on that chick, I hit, that's all me. Double, I got a bad when we be sliding through the streets, spinning chips, flipping whips. I grip my heat, she grip my meat, which is cool cause I'm no fool. Rated high in school, she use her head to get ahead. The brain so good, her noodles loose. She gon' be here in a minute, y'all should probably meet. But please, don't have to tell the whole world that you street, yeah. You say what? Hold on, bro. Let me tell you. See, I hear you, nigga, but my shorty like the street. She know double's a hood, nigga. She just loves the way I speak. Keep it G-Bro, keep it B. We gon' do a meet and greet. Babe coming over too, and she just love the D on me. Since she running late but gunning, fam, you need to see the whip. Black on black, both phones react. Man, I can't believe this shit. Got the keys in my crib, you think this all me. Switching up on my whips and think this all me. Doubled up on my chips and clips, it's all me. You see that ass on that chick, I hit that soul.
So, I thank y'all very much for listening. Yes, this is your boy Drazy. Another episode of In My Opinion. I thank y'all so very much for tuning in. If you can tell in my voice, I still got that Bell palsy, but it's coming back a little bit better and better every day. This is episode, I'm trying to think, episode 8? Yeah, it's still, I'm in a series right now. This is episode 8, part 2. It's called All Me. And basically, I'm going to be talking about things that are essential in my life. The things that I go through, it's basically just all me. It's just my opinion. You can tell your own story. You all have all different platforms y'all can use. All the things of that nature. Y'all can go through all emotions, do anything that y'all feel free. It's all about you. This is my opinion. In my opinion, excuse me. This episode is about wealth. Okay, so when I talk about wealth, I'm going to hit some key points, and then I'm going to hit some things that may help you. Like once I say is anything that I throw out here is in my opinion only. Doesn't coincide with anything else that has to go on with Dre's Radio Cafe. This is just my opinion myself. You might have your own way of doing things, your own style. I'm hoping that some of the stuff that I express to y'all or tell y'all in my lifetime about certain things that go on with me will benefit you and better in your life. This is not really about me. Like I said, it's all about getting an understanding of other things. So when I talk about wealth, let's get deep into it. I'm going to talk about financials. I'm going to talk about self-wealth. Talk about future, leaving things behind, retirement, and credit. All right. We live in a world where credit is king, is what they say. Credit is king. A lot of people misuse it, mishandles it, misinterprets it, and then you have a lot of people that they go deep into it and they have too much, knowledge on it, and then they go beyond that to get better. I've got friends that got 780 credit scores, 800 credit score. I've got friends that have a 300 credit score. Myself, I'm not the greatest. I'm in between all of that. I'm probably around like 550, 600. I did have a really good credit score in order to get my past house that my ex-wife and my kids live in. So yeah, I have been in that realm of having good credit. Credit is king. Credit, it does a lot for you. It's not easy to get, but it's hard to maintain. You have to remember to pay on time, be ahead of time, pay extra. If not use it, you lose it. Things of that nature. So credit is very, very important to people in their lifetime. Once you get it, just stay on it. I know as a kid, I was stupid, and I went and got credit, and I was wilding the hell out. Wilding out, buying stuff, getting things, and then realize, it might be easy for you to get it now, but you still got to pay it later. And if you don't pay it later, there goes your credit score. And it is very crazy, but, they go off of your everything. Everything goes on credit now. Your apartment that you live in, your car that you try to buy, whether or not you can get a better rate on insurance. They just want to know that you can pay this. So, of course, credit is going to be a very, very, very detrimental thing to have in your life. So you have to make sure that you're taking advantage of what you need to do in order to keep your credit going. Credit is very, very, very important. I stress this because there's a lot of people out there that don't understand this. To have a credit card and have a balance on it and keep that balance at zero, use 2% of your credit every month or 3% of your credit every month and pay that off. It is amazing the things you can do with credit as you go out in your everyday life. You see people every day driving new cars, getting, nice houses, doing all this stuff, and it's all a part of credit. There used to be a time where you can just cash on hand. Cash was king back in the day. Now it's credit is king. You may still be able to use cash as king in some places if you're a millionaire or you walk around with stacks in your pocket and you can do it like that. But right now, credit is king. That card is hard. You know what I'm saying? So that's the idea on credit. When I think of let me go to my next point. My next point is self-wealth. All right. It's very important that you understand what your self-wealth is. You got a lot of people out there that thinks that it's just easy. You know what I'm saying? You beautiful, you cute, you getting all these guys, you getting nice cars, you getting handed, purses and things of that nature. You're getting courted and everything else. You don't know your self-wealth apparently, and if you do know your self-wealth, you'll take better care of yourself, because self-wealth is very important to anybody. You have to know what you are worth to somebody. You don't want to be involved with somebody and they treat you like shit all the time. That's not good self-wealth. You have to learn to love yourself, know yourself, be who you need to be a better you every day. Every day. I say this because there's a lot of people out there that don't know who their self-wealth is. You know what I'm saying? I hear a lot of people out here saying, one day they want to be married, one day they want to be happy, one day they want to be in a decent relationship, one day they want to be, this, that, and the other. But you got to understand, if you grew up on being around thugs and assholes and, people that don't give a shit about you, that's what you're going to be accustomed to as you're growing up, because that's what your standards are. If you don't change your standards and understanding of who you are, you will never understand self-wealth. Self-wealth is the most important thing you can have. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's better than credit. It's harder than credit because it's you, and it's nothing different. You know, I commend a lot of people that I deal with on a daily basis. I can only be the best friend I can be to a lot of people, but I do know my self-wealth. Whether it have been my first marriage, my second marriage, third marriage, any relationships I've been in, I've done a lot of people wrong and I didn't understand my self-wealth. I have to wake up one morning and say, this is me. I've got to be better. This is who I am. This is what I'm worth. You know, when they say a person's life is priceless, when you're in the embryo and you're you know, when you just are at the beginning point, you're still valuable. You have a value to you. Because that's something that you only get one time at it. One time. So you're priceless when it comes to that. Very, very priceless. You don't sit back and say to yourself, I'm not this person. You are priceless. If you came out of a womb and you were raised by a mother and a father, or a mother and two fathers, or two fathers and a mother, or however you was born, if you were raised by two men or two women, or a man and a woman, or a woman and a man, it doesn't matter. You still are worth something. You was in a womb somewhere. You were being raised. You were being nurtured. You were being brought up. Your worth before you even got out is priceless. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand, like, this is real talk. I mean, you can't change any of that. You have to understand, like, you are very priceless. And when you learn your self-wealth and who you are, and you're happy with who you are, man, you open the door to a whole lot of new things. You learn how you can be more resourceful, how you can be more of an influence to people. I commend a lot of people that I'm around all the time. Even in the radio world. In real life, I commend a lot of people. My boss, Michael. Michael is a great boss. He knows how much he's worth. He knows the value of the people around him. He knows, you know, it's like real estate. If you are around somebody, okay, it's like properties. Like if you treat your body like a property and you're a $10 million house, you want to be around people that are going to treat you like a $10 million house. And them people will become $10 million houses too, because if you look at any property, you'll never see a $2,000 house next to a $20,000 house, next to a $200,000 house, next to a $2 million house, next to a $20 million house. You will never see that. Usually when you go in the neighborhoods, all the houses look the same. They all have the same price and value. Some of them are different than others because some of the floor plans are different. Some may have 2 bedrooms, some may have 3, some may have 4, some may have 5. Doesn't matter. You have to remember that your circle and how you are, your value has to be optimized by the people that you're around. So my goal in my life, and my goal this year, is to not only take what my face value is as my self-wealth, but the people around me change their self-wealth. Does that mean I can save everybody? No, I can't. I'm not supposed to save everybody. It's not my job, unless God tells me that's my job. My job is just to spread the word and help assist people in what their way of thinking is. I'm not perfect by a long shot. If there was perfect people in this world, trust you me, God would have a say in that. But it's not. It's not that easy. What I say to you is honest to God truth. Just know your self-wealth. And all the people around you, bring them up. If you can't bring them up, you got to pull them out. Just like weeds. You've got to do that. It's not no offense to it, but if you can't bring them up and they can't help bring you up, you need to pull them out. It's not a good thing to have that unself-wealth in your life, because at the end of the day, I tell everybody the same thing. You got to look in that mirror and say to yourself, were you the best you today? If you weren't the best you today, you got to be better tomorrow. You got to be better tomorrow. And I think that at some point or another, I was the same way. And I feel the same way sometimes. I feel like I get up every morning and I'm not myself. But if I give my best self the day before, I'm good. You know, I do that every day with my daughter. I do that every chance I can with my kids, because I am the only influence that I think they should need in their life in terms of like learning things. I tell my kids all the time that I think that like my daughter doesn't understand this yet because she's young, but the truth is she has to know like the the influence that you give her is the same influence she should look for in a man as a daddy. You know what I'm saying? If I open the door for her, if I buckle her seatbelt, if I say yes ma'am, no ma'am, if I treat her in a proper way, when she grows up, she's gonna learn to say, "Hey, my dad never said no. You're not. No, you can't." Yes, I have said no to her. I have said, yeah, you can. But at the same time, too, I've also was a gentleman to her in terms of every form, sense of the fashion. You know, I talk to her like she's not only my daughter, but I talk to her like I would want the next man to talk to her, be nice to her. I try to keep her in tune with the days of things that's going on. She don't know everything. She don't need to know everything because she's young. But the things that she do know, she has a very good insight on what it is and what it has to be like. So each day I'm trying to teach self-wealth to somebody else. So she knows when she gets older, this is how I'm supposed to be. This is who I am. So, in self-wealth, it's all about how you portray yourself. You want to be treated like a $20,000 house compared to a $20 million house, then your actions and the way you are and the way you feel about yourself is going to be that person. I'm not going to be a $20,000 house or $200,000 house. I'm going to be that $20 billion house or $20 million house because that's the personality that I want to bring out for everybody. And when I go through and I do like my shows, or I go through and I do things around people, or I'm at work and I'm doing my job and I'm portraying this person, I'm trying to bring the best out of the people around me. So if I'm a $20 million house or a $20 billion house, this person that I'm working with has to be up to my standards. It has to be that $20,000 house or $200,000 house or something close to me. You can't be the $20 house. You can't be the grass rental property. You can't be that. You got to be more than cheap rental property. You got to be more than that. You have to build up your self-wealth to be close to my self-wealth. So you have to have that energy. I need that energy around me because that energy builds me, not breaks me down. And that's how I roll. So that's self-wealth. So I touched on self-wealth and I touched on credit. Now let's talk about the future and leaving something behind. So when I say future, I'm saying down the line. 2 years from now, 20 years from now, 2 months from now, whatever the case may be. Wealth-wise, they say you're supposed to have 3 months of rent set aside for emergency, or the equal to 3 months rent set aside for emergency. I'm not going to sit back and tell you a lie. I'm not at that point. If I was at that point, a lot of things would be different. I'm not at that point yet, but I'm working on that point. Now I say this to y'all because it should be taught to others that you should learn about credit, how credit works. And I even say it in a position where you should have at least, like I said, you should have 3 months of rent saved up for emergencies. You should also have pay your credit cards down to at least 3 to 6%, and then make sure every month you use it and then pay it down to 3% or 6% again. But this is all lessons taught into the idea of being able to financially have a better future. It's not rocket science or anything of that nature. You can go to other credit schools and you can talk to people that deal with credit. You can go to your bank and your bank can tell you this stuff. But I think as an art or a better understanding, when you're listening to people that you can understand, it's easier for you to go through this motion. I had the same issue when I was going to churches. I had so many issues with churches because some churches preach the gospel different, and then sometimes it was harder for me to understand who was teaching it to me until I found a church where I could understand the pastor and what he was saying to me. So it didn't make me feel like I was in third grade or in kindergarten or something like that. It made me feel a lot different, a lot better about myself. That helped me build my self-wealth, which is good. So future-wise, you have to make sure that you're building yourself for a better future and not change anything different of who you are. You see what I'm saying? So make sure that you're having yourself a better self. I mean, a better idea of what the future should be like is a very, very good thing. All right. So work on your future. I also say leave something behind. For those that have kids, leave a will and testament. Leave beneficiary money set aside in case something happens and somebody needs to take care of your kids, because nothing's ever promised to you and how long you're going to live. So, and a lot of the times as African Americans, or whatever, we have a tendency not to leave business unfinished. So I tell everybody to leave business finished for things and purposes that make up for everything that goes on in the future. I would hate to leave this place and my kids not get any money, no reception, anything. My burial have to be paid for by family, friends, all that stuff. I don't like that. That right there sits bad on my soul. And I would be probably rolling in my grave if I had to deal with something like that. Because to me, I didn't handle my business like I should while I'm here. That leads me to say that there has to be a will and testament. There has to be like some kind of insurance policy set aside in case something happens to me. I had them plenty of times when I was married to my ex, which I'll have to change now because I don't need to infest that idea of leaving something to somebody who didn't care about me. I want to leave it to my kids because my kids deserve that. And if she chooses she has to be the beneficiary, take over for my daughter that's 5, that's fine. But I wouldn't want to leave that for her, because by the time my kid turns 18, and if I left that beneficiary to her, she would probably have spent the money because she's entitled to that if I leave that as the written will. So I need to make sure that I put things in order to where things should be the way they should be instead of leaving them unfinished. So do not leave anything unfinished for your children if you have children. If you don't have children, you don't worry about that. You leave something for your family members so that way they can make sure you're taken care of, and that way you can be buried properly. All right. So just know that, like, financial, when we talk about wealth, we're not just talking about money and how to build money and how to keep money and how to do things. It's also taking care of yourself in the idea of something should happen to you. All right. The same thing goes for if you have to be taken to a what do they call them things, a hospice, or you have to be set aside in the hospital. Say you get hit by a car and you're paralyzed or whatever the case may be. You just have to make sure that there's things taken care of for you in case something happens. That's the real truth about it. So when we talk about leaving behind, it's not just leaving it behind for kids. It's leaving behind for your family. It's leaving behind for yourself. It's leaving behind for the idea that if something happens to you, there's somebody that's going to be able to take care of whatever you need to take care of, and make it specific. Make it, if it's set for your brother, tell your brother, take care of my business. If it's for your sister to take care of the kids, hey, sis, take care of the kids, take care of my business. You know what I'm saying? But make sure that it's sitting in plain day, in writing, the exact way you want it done. Because if not, it's going to be a scatter, cluster, a cluster. Wrong button. Actually, it'd be a cluster about what goes on in your life. So you just want to make sure everything is in order in case something happens to you. So to touch back on things, and then I'm gonna get into my last thing is retirement. Retirement. When you get into retirement, think about 401ks, think about Roth IRAs, think about all the places you work that might have had some kind of retirement plan, and have a few things setting aside just in case you have to. Like a 401k or a Roth IRA, and all that money that you have, just get it together and make sure you have it all in one particular spot. Even if you keep an envelope of your Roth IRAs from Walmart, Kroger, whatever you're working at, Piggly Wiggly, who knows? I mean, it is what it is. But just make sure you have it all set aside somewhere where you can get access to it, or somebody else can get access to it, and they know exactly what's going on. Don't have it hidden off all over the place. Make sure you got right Social Security numbers, things of that nature. Make sure you go through every avenue of whatever's going on. Now, I ain't saying I'm perfect, because I'm not in no form of fashion. Like I said before, if it was like that, guy would have had a big issue on his hands. But the reality behind it is that I'm trying my best to be the best person I can be, whether it's through self-wealth, financially, looking for the future, retirement, leaving things behind, or my credit. So basically just make sure that you have everything in order in terms of your wealth, and proceed on with the next part of life. I mean, technically, I know when I'm getting close to the end, I'm trying to explain to y'all, like, wealth is a big deal, whether it's wealth or financially or whatever the case may be. I'm hoping that anything that I've put in this whole scenario can benefit you down the line, because at some point or another, we have to know that, like, cash is king, credit is, king, or, credit is hard, and it's hard keeping it, it's hard having it. It's just all over the place. We have to preserve the right to know that we have to take care of ourselves. You can't do it with your looks. You can't do it. Well, you could do it with your looks if you're like Magic Mike or some shit, or a supermodel or anything of that nature. But you have to have the ability to know that you have to make the wealth in order to be happy in life. I'm not saying that money is money is the root of all evil to start off with, but it is a necessity in life, and we need that in order to survive nowadays. All right. So in closing, wealth is very important to people. I work every day, 50 hours a week. I try to do these shows. I try to stay close to my kids. I try to take care of them the best way I know how. And in order to get that done, it does take finances in order to get that done. Whether it's whether it's financially, whether it's car, whether it's cash, whatever the case may be, they say it takes a village to raise a child. So it also takes money in a village to raise a child. So with that being said, I hope that we get an understanding that wealth is very important when it comes to being all me. And I hope that all me eventually turns into all y'all for listening, because at some point or another, I'm hoping some of this veers off on y'all, or at least rubs off on y'all, because it's a good thing to have. In closing, I'm getting ready to get out of here. This episode here, I could have got deeper into, but I chose not to. I could have talked about 401ks. I could have talked about Roth IRAs. I could have went in deeper and talked about, financial stability in terms of like the process of buying and purchasing a house, and the things you have to learn about the idea of HOAs and things of that nature. So I could have got a lot deeper into it, but I just wanted to hit some key points, that's hoping that maybe something in all of this, something will spark off in you, and you will get a better understanding of me as a whole. At the same time, to understand a little bit about finances and wealth. Okay, so if I did, go to hit the like button, the love, the heart, whatever the case may be. Send me a shout out, whatever the case may be. I got you on next show. Shout out to Miss Fabulous for listening to my last episode. Man, there's so much I can talk to you about in terms of, health, and hopefully this will do a little bit more for you. The same thing goes for anybody and everybody. If y'all need to reach me, I'm gonna send y'all at the end of the show. I'm gonna let y'all know how to reach me. I'm also gonna send y'all with a song. Since we're doing wealth, let's go ahead and get into let's do Killer P and YSO, Get Money. So in closing, I'm going to say, put God first, protect, provide, spread love, and let's get this money. And until next show, which will be about family, I'm out here. Peace.
Ways to reach me: DREZEY21 @yahoo.com. That's DREZEY21 @yahoo.com. You can also call 615-540-3998. That's 615-540-3998. If I do not answer, feel free to leave me a message or send me a text message. I will get them as soon as possible, and I will return your message. All right. Also, you can check out the website, www.Dre's Radio Cafe. That's www.DRESRadiocafe.com. All right. Man, so many ways to reach me. Hit me up whenever you get the opportunity. That's Dre's Radio Cafe. What you sipping on? Let's get into it. Let's go.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? Yo, this your boy, Noriega the King, a.k.a. TOHP, checking in all the way from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a.k.a. the Milltown. Hey, yo, shout out to Dre's Radio Cafe. Drop them hits, Dre. You know what time it is. Yeah, baby.
Yo, you tuned in with your boy, Dub C's. That's right, Dub C's Entertainment. And I'm chilling with my man, Dre, down at Dre's Cafe. That's the right place to be, y'all. Looking for that fresh underground sound? Man, Dre putting it down. That's right, Dub C's from Dub C's Entertainment. Peace out.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta motivate the world, man. Yeah. Why the fuck your head down? Pick your head up. God damn it, let's get it. Whoa. Get money, nigga. I got flaws, but I'm never flawed. Dug laws while I cop cars. Not an artist, but this pistol draw, yeah. Get money, get money. I can't take it with this fake shit. I just grind, remain patient. If I ever was sick, I just want my whole team to be get money contagious. I got a green thumb, call it ET phone at home. TV's falling out the sky. I skate no 24s, feeling super north side. Feeling like I'm Buddy Stone. And I keep the toolie close, cause I don't know what nobody on. I can't let no haters steal my vibe with a wave. I grew up doing bad on how times have changed. But they'll kill you, make you stronger, all that vibe overcame. See the pain on my face when the praise never came. I ain't caught up on emotion to compromising my focus. Gratitude to decorum, cause I done grew up with roaches. I done been taught lessons that never came with diplomas, but will leave your soul scarred with too much weight on them shoulders. I got flaws, but I'm never flawed. Dug laws while I cop cars. Not an artist, but this pistol draw, yeah. Get money, get money. I can't take it with this fake shit. I just grind, remain patient. If I ever was sick, I just want my whole team to be get money contagious.
Y'all can keep the H, nigga, I got dust sales. My dust sale, let them know it's in and it just sell. Keep the medical for friends and adjust sales. Got duck sales, run up with my bread, you gon' duck shells. Maneuvering through the city trying to duck 12. If a duck tail, I'ma send 12 to his duck tail. Nigga better break fast when I burn toast. I turn coke, you can't ball with us, you a turncoat. Damn, you ball with the main street, then you turn folk. I bet you fall in the main street when I burn toast. Killer money like Wall Street when I earn gross. I get money on All Street with the iron close.
I got flaws, but I'm never flawed. Dug laws while I cop cars. Not an artist, but this pistol draw, yeah. Get money, get money. I can't take it with this fake shit. I just grind, remain patient. If I ever was sick, I just want my whole team to be get money contagious.